Have you ever tried to improve your life and then immediately needed a nap? Like, I'm going to wake up early, journal, drink water, become my best self. And then your alarm goes off and you start negotiating with reality like, well, growth is important, but so is sleep. Balance. Yeah. We all say we want to become someone better, more disciplined, more confident, more trustworthy. But here's an uncomfortable question for you. Would you believe in you right now? Not your intentions, not your potential, you as you are. Because this week's story is about someone who had nothing, no training, no wisdom, no divine advantage, and still became the literal embodiment of the human soul. Her name is Psyche, and her entire story asks one brutal transformational question: what does it actually take to become someone worth believing in? Welcome back, fellow mages, to the Grounded Mage, where we explore how myth and magic exist in everyday life. Stay tuned because I have created something that ties in so well with what we talk about here on the Grounded Mage. I'm going to tell you about it a little bit later, but for now, let's get into this week's episode. Psyche starts as honestly a problem. Not because she's done anything wrong, but because she's just way too beautiful. Kind of like Narcissus, who I also have an episode about. I will link it in the description down below. Psyche is so beautiful that people stop worshiping Aphrodite, the literal goddess of beauty, and start to worship her instead. Which, if you know anything about Greek gods, did not go well. Let me set this up a little bit more. Psyche was born to an unnamed king and queen, the youngest of three girls. Let me reword that for you. She is a regular mortal woman. Her parents are regular people, not gods and goddesses, which makes her beauty even more impressive. So naturally, Aphrodite gets super jealous of her and sends her son Eros, better known as Cupid, to curse her, to make her fall in love with something horrible. But instead, he sees her and he falls in love. Classic. So Psyche is taken away to this hidden palace where she lives in luxury and is visited every night by an unseen lover. There's just one rule: she's never allowed to see his face. Now, right here, we hit something deeply psychological. Psyche is in a relationship where everything feels good, but she has no proof that it's real. And this mirrors something called uncertainty intolerance. As humans, we struggle to sit with the unknown. We'd often rather have a painful truth than sit with a peaceful mystery, which is why her sisters, who are, let's face it, agents of chaos, or jealous bitches, as I like to call them, keep asking her, what if he's a hideous monster? Now, there was an oracle who predicted that she would marry a horrible looking winged serpent like monster, but that was all Aphrodite's doing, and that's very much a longer story. Anyway, her jealous sisters were successful in convincing her that this is a horrible thing that she has gotten herself into. And suddenly, doubt creeps in. Not because anything has changed, but because fear filled in the gaps where the trust should have been. At this point, Psyche is scared and a little curious. So she decides she's going to hide an oil lamp and a knife under her pillow one night. Once the unseen lover is asleep, Psyche lights the lamp and shines it into their face. And instead of a monster, she sees Cupid. Beautiful, divine, real. But the moment she tries to confirm love, she breaks it. He wakes up, feels betrayed, and leaves. Now, during this whole exchange, oil from the lamp drips onto Cupid's shoulder, causing an injury that he needs a long time to recover from. And just like that, everything she had disappears. And here's where the story turns. Because up until now, Psyche hasn't become anything. She's just been chosen, admired, desired, protected. But now she has to earn her way forward. This is where we connect to self efficacy theory, the idea that belief in yourself comes from evidence, not affirmations, not vision boards, evidence. Small wins, hard things, follow throughs. Psyche doesn't become worthy by being loved. She becomes worthy by what she does after she loses everything. Have you ever experienced life getting impossibly harder once you believed you bettered yourself? Let me know in a comment down below. So, what happens next in this story? This is where most people would quit. But Psyche goes straight to Aphrodite, the one who hates her guts, and says, I want Cupid back. And Aphrodite basically responds with, perfect, then suffer. She gives Psyche four impossible tasks, and the last one will literally send her to the underworld. Task number one. Psyche is given a massive pile of seeds by Venus. Thousands of seeds, a mixture of wheat, barley, millet, poppies, lentils, and beans. Her task? She has to sort all of them by morning. Impossible, overwhelming, paralyzing, until ants show up and take pity on her, and they help her complete this task on time. This connects to something called task chunking. When everything feels like too much, your brain starts to shut down. But progress doesn't come from solving everything, it comes from starting small. And also, this part is key. Psyche accepts help. Growth isn't solo. And people who become trustworthy, they're not the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who keep moving even when they need support. Next, she's told to collect wool from dangerous, aggressive, sun scorched rams. If she takes a direct approach here, it is certain instant unaliving for her. So instead, she waits. She watches. She's trying to think of a way to complete this task and live to tell the tale. Eventually, a singing reed tells her to wait until the rams are napping in the shade and then gather the wool that has been shed on the briars, which are like small, shrubby, thorny plants. This is impulse control. Not everything requires force. Sometimes growth looks like restraint, like not reacting, not rushing, not trying to prove yourself immediately. Becoming someone worth believing in often means choosing patience over pride. All right, we've reached the third task, and honestly, at this point, Aphrodite was just begging for something bad to happen to Psyche. She is now told she must gather water from the Styx, which is a deadly river. She's meant to fill a crystal flask with water from the treacherous dragon guarded waterfall that feeds that river. Again, impossible alone, but again, help arrives. An eagle sent by Zeus, or Jupiter, depending on the version you're reading, retrieves the water for her. And it's here that we hit interdependence. A huge myth in self development is I have to do it all by myself. No, you have to show up and you have to try. But sometimes progress comes from allowing life, people, and even timing to meet you halfway. Finally, Aphrodite says, you know what? Just go to the underworld. Your final task is to get a box of beauty from Persephone. And Psyche actually succeeds in this. She gets a little help from a talking tower that teaches her how to navigate the underworld and tells her how to calm Cerberus. But on the way back, she thinks, maybe I'll take a little for myself. Just a little. I mean, like she needs it, right? The whole reason she's in this mess is because she is so incredibly beautiful. And she's like, maybe I'm going to take a little bit more beauty for myself. Like, how selfish can you be? Anyway, she opens the box, of course, and immediately she falls into a death like sleep. Because Persephone, being Persephone, put a Stygian sleep in that box instead of her beauty, which is basically something that induces a death like coma. That's it. Self sabotage is where we've ended up here, right at the finish line, which seems right on par with real life, doesn't it? Because growth doesn't challenge your ability, it challenges your identity. And sometimes deep down, we don't believe that we deserve the life that we're building. So we ruin it, just enough to stay familiar. Now, this is a love story, so of course it's not the end for Psyche. Cupid returns after his wounds heal. He's still in love with her, so he forgives her. And after hearing all that she has endured for him, he goes to find her. He wakes her up, rescues her, and instead of starting over, they ascend to the heavens where Cupid appeals to Jupiter. He tells Jupiter all that has happened, and Jupiter grants Psyche immortality. She's now the goddess of the soul. Psyche and Cupid can now marry openly, Aphrodite relents, and the couple have a daughter. Psyche was given the gift of immortality not because she was perfect, not because she never failed, but because she endured. She learned and she changed. Psyche didn't start as someone worth believing in. She was simply beautiful and taken somewhere where she could be doted on for no other reason than that. She had to become a person worth believing in. She had to prove herself and her strength and her resilience. And she did this through facing consequences, doing hard things, accepting help, regulating her emotions, and failing, and then continuing anyway. And that's the part that most people miss. Belief isn't given, it's built. Not in one big moment, but in 100 small choices that say, I will show up again. So here's my question for you this week. If someone watched your actions, not listened to your words, would they believe in you? And if your answer is not yet, good. That means you're still in the story, still becoming. Next week, we are moving away from myth and going somewhere a little bit more raw. We're going to talk about Logan, or maybe you know him better as Wolverine, a man defined by pain, loss, and survival. And the question we're asking is, can the wounded self become gentle? Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe to this channel, and share this video with someone who's in their own transformation arc. And if you are ready to go on your own transformational journey, I might have just the thing for you. This is the Hero's Journey Journal created by me. We talk a lot about reflecting and self transformation here on the Grounded Mage, so I thought, why not create something that can go along with that? So, there are prompts inside here that take you through each stage of the hero's journey, which is what I here at the Grounded Mage associate with self transformation. There are also shadow check ins in here, and if you've been listening for a while, you know when I say shadow, I mean those parts of you that you find ugly and repulsive and you hide them away from the world. It's really important to check in with those parts of ourselves because sometimes they're useful in life. There's a lot in here to help you self reflect and grow and transform into the next phase of your life, whether that's a new job, new parenthood, or you're trying to make room for new friends in a new neighborhood that you've moved to. It's not just a journal with blank pages inside. Again, there are prompts in here, there are questions to help you through your entire transformation process. I created this all by myself. I am a very small creator. I don't have a team. I don't have editors and formatters and designers. I did all of that. I designed the cover, I designed the interior, I wrote all the questions, I put it all together all by myself. Um, I'm very proud of this. I really hope you give this a shot. There is a freebie preview in the link in the description down below. There's a link for it. And if you enjoy the freebie preview, then please don't hesitate to purchase this. The links for that are also in the description down below. Until next week, fellow mages, make it make magic.